Hello and welcome. This is Fireworks on TBC. I am Bukola Samuel Wemimo. In today's edition, we're rummaging through our bag of information at our disposal on the just concluded Bayelsa PDP governorship primary election. What we know already is that Governor Dixon's restoration team is one that has set sail already. But just how many more Bayelsa politicians have joined this steady ship? And where are Bayelsans in all of this? Welcome to your preferred Hard Talk interview program on TBC. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Thank you for joining us on today's edition of Fireworks. Today, my guest wears many hats, is the former secretary to the government here in Bayelsa State, former permanent secretary, Ministry of Power, and he's also the former of a Nigerian ambassador to the Scandinavian countries. He is Ambassador Godknows Bolade Igali. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so you were an aspirant in the just concluded Bayelsa governorship, PDP governorship primaries.
Yes.
What are your thoughts or what's your assessment of the primaries?
Going into the election, there were so many issues. Some aspirants had raised some very serious issues with regards to ad hoc delegates. There were some questions regarding local government officials who just got elected. And people felt that this was with a view to having an advantage. And for me personally, I also thought that the influence of undue influence of money was totally very odious, very sad, because most of the delegates are normal rural people, just people that are not of any particular economic or social status. And when you bring them into the state capital and intimidate them, trepidate them, and coerce them to do things against their will with so much money, I felt that that was totally wrong. Yeah, some little money for transport, which is normal, but when you make it for a person that has not seen held 50,000 in his hand ever in his life, you give him hundreds of thousands. It is condemnable, it's totally wrong.
If I'm not mistaken, I had read some of your interviews and you had expressed confidence that the delegates would elect a credible aspirant to
Yes.
become the PDP
Yes.
flag bearer in the
Yes.
coming election.
Yes.
So what you're saying now is at variance at the optimism that you had shared.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, because during my process of consultations and, if I may call it, campaign, after our screening and campaigns were open, I had gone around the state with my manifesto, which I said my commitment to the people of Bayelsa State, well written, well articulated what we are going to do to move the state forward as a modern 21st century state. And people bought it very well, and I got assurances that we at this stage will get one of the best people or the best person among all of you.
So the anticlimax you're feeling now is as a result of your dismal performance in the...
Well, my performance, you see, I don't want to, I have my phone here. If I open my phone and show you, you'll be a little bit surprised, because the same delegates that did not vote for me, many are calling me to apologize and to send me a text message to apologize. Because the influence of heavy money had never happened this way before.
And you didn't spend heavy money?
No, I don't have heavy money.
So you were playing your...
And I will not spend heavy money.
So you,
listen to me. This
so you were playing your politicking on wishful thinking if you refuse to spend heavy money?
No, I don't have heavy money, and we have to discourage. This state is one of the states with some of the lowest social indicators. We can deceive ourselves. For example, access to drinking water, we are one of the lowest in the country, 34%, much below the national average of about 53%. Or, for example, sanitation, we're doing 38%, or antenatal care, where we're doing 25%, or malnutrition, we are on the top, one of the top states. So why would people spend that kind of money? Why don't you go and build a toilet in your community, which some of us have done, and the records are there for people to see. When I was permanent secretary, I made sure that we brought the biggest water plant, which is the Central Water Scheme, 6.5 billion, former president's community.
So,
for a state that is in darkness, we brought the gubernatorial power in the gubernatorial area. We brought some big transmission transformers. So, but the state is in federal government as of today, according to the National Bureau of Statistics, one of the lowest in access to electricity. So, if you have that kind of billions to share to delegates, and they were trepidated, some of them were aghast. You know, they didn't know what to do.
Do you, by any chance, know those who had the billions to share to delegates?
You should go and find out. Ask them. They'll tell you.
But you speak as though you knew or you know.
I know some of them, and it's not my duty to come and talk in a public forum. It's the shame.
So ahead of the primary election, Ambassador,
yes.
when the Timi Alaibe group were crying foul
yes.
over the conduct of the processes leading to the primaries,
yes.
I mean the PDP ward congresses,
yes.
and you know, the election of officials of the
yes.
primary election committee. Where were you?
Listen to me.
Or where was your representative?
No, not representative.
To say same.
Not representative, me.
Yeah, where were you?
I was present. I didn't agree with the line of approach of my good friend and brother Timi Alaibe, because to me, you know, you get to a point in life where you don't follow the crowd. You have to do what your convictions are. My conviction was that the approach is not to stop the World Congress, because the object was that World Congresses should stop, because the way those who will go and conduct the elections in the local governments were not, delegates, aspirants were not consulted. So my view was that, and my colleagues aspirants were surprised, because they thought I would throw my weight behind that kind of feeling. No, my view was that, you see, the way the PDP constitution and the constitution of most of the parties are written, people come from the national level to the states to conduct elections. You don't question the national level and say, hey, why did you send Mr. John to come and conduct my election? Ipso facto, at the level of the states, the duty of the state chairman, the state organizing secretary, and the state working committee to send people to local governments to conduct elections. Federal does not come to send people to local governments and to wards, to villages to go and conduct. Those are the prerogative of the state chairman of the party. I mean, I may not agree with some things of the government, but for a person of my level, I have to stand and counsel people. No. I've been involved with going to conduct elections in other states. The federal does not, because the object of their petition was that the federal government, the federal national chairman of the party should bring people into every village or every local government to conduct elections, or do it in consultation with the aspirants. So for me, my advice was that, look, let's look at another approach. If we feel that the chairman of the party is biased or is not doing the right thing, we should take him to task. But to say that he's sending people to conduct an election, that he has not breached the constitution of the party. So those who write petitions, I said, look, I don't write petitions like that. I said, let's think of how to keep the party together.
So you adopted a more gentlemanly approach?
Well, I'm a pacifist, and I always believe that maybe because of my background as a diplomat, maybe I believe we should talk and see how we can move forward.
Apparently it didn't work out well for you.
Well, no, not me. I had no issue, because people petitioned and later the party threw it out. I told them, I said, this is an exercise in futility. Because the person, look, if you say you have done X, but if it's within the powers of the person to do that, then it's only exercising his power. So let us have another reason to petition. So that was how it was. And,
so there are discordant tunes within the PDP in Bayelsa State?
Well, with the way the election results have come out there, obviously are.
So do you agree with the constitution or the formation, if you would like it, of a restoration team by the incumbent, Governor Dickson?
The governor is right as a person. He has a right to say whoever I like should succeed me. But for some of us who have worked for the party, look, let me tell you, when it came to suffering for the party, some of us suffered. We even went to the guillotine. We were to be beheaded and everything, done, locked up, chained, whatever.
Some Bayelsans would say that, one that should have rivaled Governor Dickson in constituting the restoration team is former President Goodluck Jonathan, but he will not spend the money. We're back to the issue of money. So will you take responsibility, or would you rather resign to the state of things as they are because the former president will not spend money?
The fact that, you see, former President Jonathan, his personality, he's a person that towers above these things. I worked with him as central government, even up to local government, in his own local government. President Jonathan has a cousin who is a lawyer, an educated man, who aspired to be chairman of local government. He came to me when I was central government. I said, look, I want to be local government chairman. I went to the governor there. I said, Governor, look, this your brother is qualified. He said, no, don't tell me that rubbish. I don't get into those levels. Let the people in the local government decide. So the point is that, yeah, everybody's a type. When you, as a parent, if you have 5, 10 children, then you say, in my house, my child, ABC, Shola, and Buki, well, your namesake, maybe they are the children I favor. Others, what are you doing in your house? You want to throw your house apart. What? Daddy, mommy will love you. Well, all of you are, then you always say only two of them are special. Other children will feel aggrieved. This is what I told the party. Try and do this. Otherwise, you scatter this family. Because we've worked hard to build this party, and after we lost the 2015 general election, presidential level, everybody came together. That's why people like me stood by this governor to make sure that the party stands and its government. And they have done quite well. But towards this exit part, succession is a difficult thing. Because I am close to President Jonathan, but I was also extremely, until now, close to the governor. And I kept counseling him as if somebody more senior to him. He served in that government on our SSG as Attorney General. And we are close friends, so I said, Governor, let's be careful. Succession thing is very delicate. So don't listen to people around you. Tell, look, keep one of us, keep one of us. Don't bring another person. But what of those people that have toiled with the party with you and stood by you? So if you say, we are the only children, throw everybody away. And then, like I said,
you say you believe you were going to win, but
yes.
My investigation or a few questions I've asked around about you, the view about you is that you are an Abuja politician. Is only when elections are about to be conducted that your people see you at home.
I think you're saying you're totally correct. I'm home here every weekend. Which Abuja politician? Not, I was never an Abuja politician. I worked in Abuja, but I'm here I'm a village person. I go, not just here, I go to my village. And on the streets of Yenagoa, there were 3 opinion polls. 3. 1, 2, 3 opinion polls. The first opinion poll put Timi Alabi in front of me. I came next. Timi Alabi had 21 points. I had 16 points, then followed by some other people. The next one was done in Ogwea, where I came closer to Timi Alabi. Timi Alabi now had about, I think, 19 points, and I had 17 points. And the last poll before the election, we were at par. So you can't say so.
So perhaps if Timi Alabi had won, it would have been a more credible exercise, you believe?
Well, what I'm saying is that, well, because Timi had a very robust campaign, and he had maybe stronger financial power than myself. But I was on the vanguard of my integrity and of what I offered to the people. And they know my background. I'm former SSG here. So somebody cannot say I was I'm an Abuja politician. Maybe that's another. I'm trying to be a politician now. I have been a technocrat who operates behind the scene, but people seeing me doing things and being philanthropic in my approach to dealing with my people.
Interesting. Okay, we'll make progress now to see how well Bayelsa has fared under the PDP, but that'll be after the break. My guest today is Ambassador Godknows Igali. He is an aspirant in the Bayelsa PDP governorship election, and he participated in the just concluded primaries. Stay with Fireworks. We'll be right back. So thank you for staying tuned to Fireworks. In today's edition, it's been a frank conversation about the conduct of the just concluded PDP governorship primaries, and we're getting the views of a participant at the primaries in the person of Ambassador Godknows Igali. And we've, gotten up close with some of the issues, particularly those behind closed doors, if I would borrow his words, the backroom stories. Now, Ambassador, just before we exit the conduct of the primaries, would you desire that an investigation be conducted into the use of money as incentive or to induce delegates? Or as far as we know about the primaries, a man has been elected as flag bearer, so Bayelsa should move forward and get ready for the election. Well,
I think Bayelsa should move forward. I've congratulated him. Actually, I was the first person to congratulate him I was sitting not far from him. And I should say, by the way, he's my in-law, and they were quite close. When I was Secretary of Government, he was a commissioner in that government, just like the governor. So we are quite close, and I've congratulated him. So we should move forward. But I think that we have to raise an advocacy against huge use of money to intimidate delegates. It's wrong. You know, you can't play politics without money. Huge money. Look, we have issues. Recently, I built some toilets in my communities and 2 other communities. It didn't cost me much. Each of the toilets was 135,000. One for women, one for men, one for women, one for men. I built that in some communities. If these people are so rich, 1 or 2 other, I know their communities. Why didn't they go and do that?
Who are these people?
Well, some aspirants who believe that money buys everything.
But you would rather not tell us who these aspirants are.
Listen to me, that would be sublime at my level. That would be sublime. It would be too pedestrian for me to start calling names of people in public. So they know themselves. I want to see we should debate on issues in Nigerian politics and prepare our people for governance. When those people from the villages came, each of us should go with documents, ideas, show them this is what I want to do. What is I'm saying there's room for improvement. We should focus on that room for improvement and try to bring improvement to the lives of the people. PDP as a government has brought the state thus far. There are a lot of achievements that have been done, but on the social issues we have to pay more attention. On the social issues, you see, my campaign was based on attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals. The SDGs cover everything, whether roads, whatever you want to do. So we have to look at issues that pertain to human welfare. How are people faring? Old people, are they taken care of? What are the issues of antenatal care? What are the issues of children in primary school or girls' access to education and so on? And these are things that, for example, we have these questions of low use of contraceptives, and things that may not be taken as too important, but are quite important to human development. That's the object of government. If you are building roads, very good. You are building bridges and so on, very good. But it was keyed into the context of how human beings get better. Are they happier? Are they healthier? Are they safer? Will they live longer? Will they live more in safety? So those are the things that pertain to life. That's what the world is emphasizing on. You know, so it's not for us to do big man with money.
So besides the social development issues that you have pointed to, Bayelsans are also yearning for, other aspects of the dividends of democracy that they have not seen in 8 years. And that brings me to the problem of power. And I'm glad that you are a former permanent secretary under the Ministry of Power.
Yes.
And, they say that this government had 8 years to power streetlights throughout Bayelsa State, but that has not been done. Should that be excused yet again as a problem that the federal government should attend to? Streetlights are on the streets of Yenagoa.
No, 2 things. I was permanent secretary for power, and when President Buhari came in, I acted as Minister of Power for 8 months. And I don't want to talk about Nigeria's power situation because the solutions have already been provided, and it's for them to address. Now, with regards to Bayelsa, when I got in there, I realized that Bayelsa was a state that was shortchanged in power supply. You see, for power to come in, you must have what we call transmission transformers. We had what we had in the place called Baratoro. That's where the national grid comes into. It was only 30 MVA, which was small for the state of this size. So I came up with a proposal on Bayelsa power improvement, made a case before Federal Executive Council with my minister, supervisor, and I went there and made a presentation. So I said that no state should be left behind. We're the state. So it was approved. A project of about 3.5 billion was completed. It's completed. So which means that technically Bayelsa can now receive more power. And I don't want to go into other aspects of the program. So that's what I did. Now, why does the state not have power? It's a commercial issue. And I took it up with the MD of Podako Disco. Say, hey, my friend, because by coincidence...
All this happened when you were permanent secretary?
No. Recently.
In recent
times. I took it up with the MD of Podako Disco. Because by coincidence, the contractor that did that work, improving power in Bayelsa State, was a company which the MD was previously MD. So I said, look, my friend, you've completed this project. Why are you not giving Bayelsa power? He said it's a commercial issue. commercial issue. So you discuss when you see it, then you ask them. I think the commercial issue may be the fact that people are not paying bills. If people don't pay bills, sometimes governments go and make a fixed deposit every month so that you stand like a buffer to the company, so they give more light to the people. So I've done my part. I brought in about 3.5 billion, even at a time when the federal government was not raising money for power again, it was privatized. I had to run around all over the system to look for money. And,
but in the absence of federal response to this power problem in Bayelsa State,
yes.
you have talked about...
Federal cannot respond. It is power has been privatized.
Commercial.
Power
okay,
is
you
now,
said it's a commercial issue.
Yes, it's a
So
commercial
in the
issue.
absence of that response, in the absence of that response, you have talked about how politicians have access to millions of naira that were unjustifiably spent during the primaries. So if Bayelsa politicians have access to a lot of money, why can't there be a human face to this issue? Why can't there be such an intervention?
I think it's just a general Nigerian issue. Let me tell you, I went to a place in Abuja, and even Lagos, I've seen some where you had some of the biggest mansions in the world, and the road was so bad. Then when I got to the house where I was going, it was like a castle. And I asked my friend, I said, come, this place you live, you go through this with your wife and your children every day? He said, yeah, the government has not done that. I said, look, 10 of you can bring out, each of you can bring out about 100 million to take you about 700 and do one of the best roads possible. Because I know him as a billionaire. Why do you live with this kind of thing? Yeah, our people are used to it. Every important Bayelsa, including myself, uses a generator when we come here because there's not much of electricity. And people are not bothered. And so in Nigeria, generally, the idea of voluntarism is not there. In other places, people volunteer, say, hey, come, let's do together. It's happening in some few cases. In most cases, people wait for government. So I think that something like street lights, yeah, maybe it's a challenge to my co-aspirants and myself. Perhaps I'll call up a few of them and say, let us put money together and do street lights in Agua. You give us a good idea. So I think I'll take it upon myself. I'll call a few of them. Let's justify if we could spend 21 billion each and give to
million
each, I mean, so excuse me, and give to Abuja, and also spend hundreds of millions in the primary. We can as well be able to spend something, maybe about 70 to 100 million to put street lights in Yenagua or other communities.
So we hope your passivism and your desire to intervene in the power situation will yield results in favor of Bayelsans.
Well,
thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll do my best.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time on Fireworks. And that's our offering for you on the program today. Of course, with this edition particularly, I know that you've gotten an aerial view of some of the issues that shaped the primary election. We promise you another explosive edition of the program, same time next week.